you ever noticed something strange? Almost everyone starts a prolonged fast because they want to lose weight. That was me too. And if you're watching this video, there's a good chance that's one of your reasons that you are here as well. Maybe you've tried diets. Maybe you've tried intermittent fasting. Maybe you've counted calories, joined the gym, bought supplements, promised yourself that this Monday would finally be different. And maybe some of those things helped for a while. But somehow you are still searching. Because deep down, this isn't only about weight loss anymore. It's about wanting your life back, wanting your energy back, wanting to wake up and actually feel like yourself again. And that's why I wanted to make this video. Because after nearly 30 years of doing prolonged fasts, I've realized something I've never expected. The weight loss is wonderful, but it's rarely the thing people remember the most. The biggest transformations are often the ones nobody tells you about before you begin. And I think that's a shame, because some of these unexpected changes become the very reason people finish their fasts. When I started my first prolonged fast, at 18, I had no idea what was waiting for me. I thought it would be cool to lose some weight. Maybe I would even feel a little healthier. That's it. But instead, I experienced things I wasn't prepared for. Some happened within days, and others appeared gradually over the following weeks. And many of them stayed with me long after my fast ended. One of the first things people often notice is something that's difficult to explain until you've experienced it yourself. Mental clarity. You expect fasting to make you tired. Instead, after those first difficult days, many people describe the exact opposite. It's as if somebody turned down the background noise inside of their head. You're able to focus again. Your thoughts become quieter. Your decisions become easier. I remember sitting down one afternoon with no particular plan, and ideas simply kept coming. I wrote for hours without forcing myself. That kind of focus surprised me far more than any number on a scale ever did. And then there's the energy. This one sounds almost unbelievable. Most people assume eating less must automatically mean having less energy. That wasn't my experience. In fact, after the few days, my energy often became steadier than when I was eating every day. I had no afternoon crashes, there were no constant searching for snacks, there was no roller coaster. It was just stable energy. Another surprise was my relationship with food. Before fasting, food occupied far more space in my mind than I ever realized. What should I eat? When should I eat? What snacks do I have? Should I treat myself today? During a prolonged fast, that constant conversation simply becomes quiet. You suddenly have hours of your day back, not only because you're no longer preparing meals, but because your mind is no longer negotiating with food every few hours. It's an incredible feeling and one I never expected. And then there's the physical changes they have. And then there are the physical changes that have nothing to do with the body weight. People often tell me about sleeping better, feeling lighter, and moving with less discomfort. They see improvements in their skin. Their face looks different. Their fingers become slimmer. Even old clothes begin fitting differently before the scale fully reflects the change. For me personally, one of the most meaningful changes happened a few years ago. Since I was 20 years old, every menstrual cycle brought severe pain. Pain that sometimes left me unable to function. But after my very first prolonged fast, for the first time in years, I had completely painless periods. That moment stayed with me. Years later, prolonged fasting would become part of another chapter in my life involving endometriosis and infertility. Now, those experiences completely changed the way I look at fasting and how I will never stop saying how good it is. Not because I believe fasting magically fixes everything. It doesn't. but because it reminded me that our bodies are often capable of far more than we give them credit for. And there was another unexpected benefit, and that was the confidence. And I'm not talking about confidence because your clothes fit differently, although that certainly is nice. I'm talking about a much deeper confidence, the confidence that comes from keeping a promise to yourself. 21 days is a long time. There will be difficult moments. There will be days when quitting feels like the easier option. But every single day you continue becomes evident that you are stronger than you believed. And nobody can ever take that away from you. That's one of the greatest gifts fasting has ever given me. It changed the way I trusted myself. Now here's something I wish somebody had told me before I started my first fast. Don't spend those 21 days only tracking your weight. Instead, track your unexpected wins. Every evening, ask yourself one simple question. What felt different today? Maybe you slept through the night. Maybe your afternoon cravings disappeared. Maybe your knees didn't hurt today. Maybe you laughed more. Maybe your mind felt quieter. And maybe you weren't thinking about food every single hour. Write down just one thing, because when the scale doesn't move for a day or two, and that's something that happens, you will realize your body is still changing in dozens of other ways. Those notes become incredibly powerful on the difficult days because they remind you that progress isn't always measured in kilograms. Sometimes it's measured in peace. And sometimes it's measured in energy. Other times it's measured in hope. Those changes can end up meaning much more than the weight you lose. Imagine yourself 6 months from today. One version of you decided not to try. Life looks much the same. You're still searching, you're still wondering, you're still hoping something will change. Now the other version decided to take the journey. Not because it was easy, but because she is curious about what she will be capable of. She discovers more energy. She discovers more confidence. She is calmer in relationships with food, and she has a clearer mind. And maybe she will discover a version of herself she hasn't seen in years. 3 weeks sounds like a very long time, but compared to spending another 10 years wondering what if, it suddenly doesn't seem very long at all. I would love to hear from you. When you imagine finishing a 21-day fast, what is secretly the biggest change you are hoping that has nothing to do with the number on the scale? Is it better sleep? Is it more energy? Is it to have more clarity? Or maybe to have less pain and more confidence? And it could be something completely different. Let me know in the comments. I read every single one of them, and your answers genuinely help me create videos that answer the questions you are asking right now. And who knows, your answer might be exactly what someone else watching this video needed to hear today. Until next time, I'm Basswood. Thanks for watching.